This is Dr. Rosie Kuhn, and this podcast series is called Spiritual Immersion, Taking the Plunge. And the intention of these podcasts is to support and empower you to be with what is in terms of who you be as a spiritual being and who you be as a human being, and how the two integrate, if they do and when they do. And so this is an exploration of my experience personally and some of my professional experiences, as well as some of the research and readings that I've done. Brought it together to support you, like I said, and empower you to be curious about who you are and what this whole spiritual journey is about for you. This human spirit journey is about for you. You may hear some pitter-patter on my roof. It's a rainy day, so you're going to hear some rain in the background. It's quite lovely, actually. So one of the questions I get quite often is the question, how do I make this go faster and easier? How do I make it so it doesn't hurt, so it's not uncomfortable, so I don't have to deal with my emotions, so I don't have to feel any of the emotional or physical detoxing that's part of most processes like this? How do I kind of bypass all of that and just kind of make it easy? And the answer is that the more that you need, so what we're trying to do in asking the question is, how do I control this situation? How do I be in control so that I can feel what I want to feel and I don't have to feel the rest. I don't have to go through the hard stuff. And this need to try to control the outcome, the need to try to control is what's going to make this last longer. And the other part of this answer is that this is a lifelong journey. If you're, we started this the moment we, were born, or actually before that. But as we get older and we start to awaken to this process and perhaps go through some challenges that are asking us, are demanding of us to become aware and wake up to our spiritual, the truth of our spiritual self. The more that we grow and expand, the more that you're going to grow and expand. The more that you'll be in this process till death do you part. And not even then, because this is an eternal process of you ascending to higher and higher levels of wisdom and higher levels of vibration, higher levels of knowing, and moving higher and higher in the levels of the highest truth, highest knowing, and highest contribution to the universe. So there is no, okay, I'm done. There's only, okay, I'm done for now in this moment with this piece, and then you can anticipate something else will come. But you can anticipate it as like, oh my God, this is terrible, horrible, or you can go, oh, here it is again. And here it is again. And part of, I think, cultivating the wisdom is to know the difference. It's like in the serenity prayer, grant me the serenity to accept what I cannot change. You are a human being. You are a spiritual being having a human experience. You can't change that. So it's a matter of coming to accept that. And then the second part of the serenity prayer, so the first part is grant me the serenity to accept what I cannot change. The courage to change the things I can. Now, what can I change? I can change my attitude. I can change my belief system. I can change my resistance. I can change a lot of things. But I can't change that I'm a spiritual being having a human experience, and I'm moving through this evolutionary process. Having the courage to change what you can, that's the big deal. That's where this work of spiritual immersion, taking the plunge, really moves you into greater degrees of what I call spiritual intelligence, but utilizing intelligence and the element of the higher truth intelligence, which takes us into what's your absolute truth. Okay, so my furnace just kicked on, so you'll be hearing that in the background too. But that place of being courageous to be with what is and be able to go, okay, what part of this am I creating? What part of this am I creating or contributing to this situation the way it is? And if you look at it, and I've talked about this before, it's like, oh, I have some beliefs I'm holding on to. I have some emotional resistance. I have resistance to feeling my emotions. All kinds of different things that you can begin to point to. And that's where things can get easier. So many people, and this includes me, initially we feel like we're a victim to this situation, this spiritual emergence process, or life issues that trigger us into some potentially deep traumatic memories, or PTSD, post-traumatic stress, where we're feeling things and we think we're a victim to the trigger. But what it is saying, hey, you're going to get to the point where you can actually be with us in a way that you can heal the original source of this trauma. And so that's what we're doing, is we're maturing to take greater degrees of responsibility for what's showing up. And again, this is a never-ending process. And the more that you know that, it's like, starting elementary school and you go, crap, I'm going to I'll be here for at least, going through 12 years from first grade to 12th grade. And then if you plan to go to college and then graduate school and then post-grad or whatever, it's a lot of learning. And then if you decide to be a doctor or something that takes you into greater degrees of education, and that's what it's like. It's like you're constantly educating yourself. You're constantly becoming more aware of what there is to learn, to shift and move you in the direction of your highest knowing, your highest truth, the essential you, the you that lives and is aware of a limitlessness. And I know when I started this process a long time ago, it was like, there's, what do you mean limitlessness? Or David Hawkins uses the term 100% potentiality. It's like, I can't get there. I don't know how to get there. But as I'm moving through my processes over and over again, I'm getting more experienced. And not that I'm mastering it, I still have, it's not that I'm going to master it where I don't have any more challenges or things to learn. I just go, oh yeah, here's another one of those places where I've got something that I need to look at. I've got something that needs attention. If I don't bring attention to it, if I resist, it will persist. What persists, what I resist will persist. I have a lot of, I have a situation with a friend, and my friend is continually breaking a promise. And he keeps having a good excuse for it. He'll get sick. He will have to go get his mother. He'll have to go do some work. There's always an excuse, and a good excuse. And he's not fulfilling his commitment to me. And it's like, well, what do? It's like, and for the longest time, it's just like, I've accepted it. I go, oh yeah, well, that makes sense. He can't do it now. And well, it makes sense now. He can't do it, that kind of stuff. But at some point it's like, wait a second. I don't want to do this. Like, what's my part in this dilemma? What's my part in what's showing up in my life? And regardless of what his circumstances are, what's showing up for me, and what is the lesson here? And it's a lesson about I have a perspective, and I have a need, and I have a want, and I have I have integrity, and I want to be treated with respect, and I want people in my life who are clear about their commitments, and they fulfill their commitments. They tell me they're going to do it, they're going to do it. They do it. And if they don't, now what? And if they have a good excuse, excuses are excuses. I'll talk about this in the next podcast. But if there's not for me, what it is I have a right to, I'm owning my right to have a say in this and saying, nope, this isn't working for me anymore. I'm going to do something else. I'm going to go someplace else to get this commitment fulfilled. I'm going to look at myself differently so that I'm not feeling at the mercy of somebody else or something else. And that's a big learning. I'm going to do something so that I am not at the mercy of somebody else. That's taking responsibility. That's empowering myself to make different choices. It has nothing to do with him. He's doing what he's doing, and he has every right to do what he's doing. Me too. And that's a little tiny lesson, but it's huge in terms of what I'm needing to focus on right now, what I need to look at and see how I forever have interpreted myself at the mercy of money, at the mercy of people who want my services, at the mercy of my parents or brothers and sisters or my husbands or my children. That is an attitude or a perspective that has been lifelong, and it's impacting on me negatively. It's like I can do something about that. I just have to have the courage to do what I can do, the courage to change the things I can. It's scary. I don't like it. But if I don't do it, I'm not going to grow, and I'm going to be continually living at the mercy of other people and other situations. I'm willing to learn how to shift that. I'm willing to see other perspectives so that I know if I'm not at the mercy of that, I'm now sovereign and self-empowered, and I can make different choices. And that feels really, really good. So again, the point of this is we want to make this as easy as possible. We want this to go as fast as possible in terms of getting through the hard stuff. And most of that requires really looking at how you're resisting and where I've been resisting. And I've been resisting all the time. In watching that really gets to be quite interesting and entertaining to say, okay, how am I resisting, or what am I resisting in this particular case? Here's a friend who's not fulfilling his commitment. And he has all kinds of justifications and excuses. And what's my part in this? And it gets really interesting because I have a big part of it. I'm 100% responsible for this coming into my life. So again, the more that I was resisting, the point of that was I resist seeing where I'm at responsible. And I've spoken about this before in other podcasts. We are 100% responsible for what shows up. And now I have to really take the reins and say, okay, I'm going to look at this very, very clearly and not resist it anymore. All right, that's pretty much it for today. If you have any questions or have any thoughts or are interested in and perhaps getting support from me as a coach in your work, this kind of work, please email me at rosie@theparadigmshifts.com. If you're interested, I have books on various elements of this process. You can find those at amazon.com. And just search Rosie Kuhn, Kuhn, and you'll see all my books there. In different languages, too. Pretty fun. All right. Big hugs. Bye for now.